Investing in gold traditionally meant buying the physical product. HelloGold intends to change that by allowing people to invest for as low as RM1. We talked to CEO Robin Lee about the acceptance of buying gold the digital way and how it compares with cryptocurrency. HelloGold, when it first came up, was such an interesting concept because it's not going to your grandmother's goldsmith and buying a bar of gold anymore. It is actually buying gold sort of digitally. When it first came up, to at least Malaysians, it was such a different idea. Now it's been a few months. How has the adoption and acceptance rate actually been like for HelloGold?
The beta version of HelloGold came out in November, and we had our full launch with Aeon Credit in April this year. And since then, we've accepted 4,000 customers onto our platform over the last 6 months. The organization I used to work with prior to HelloGold, the World Gold Council, ran the world's largest gold fund out of New York. For that product, the GLD, we used to buy 400-ounce bars and sold fractional ownership of that. And effectively, all that we've done is imported that model and brought the transaction size down to 1 unit of local currency. So in some regards, the idea isn't new. If you think about buying unit trusts, the idea is you buy a portfolio of shares, but you only buy 1 unit of the unit trust. So for a lot of our target market, they understand the concepts of fractional ownership of a portfolio, in this case gold.
You, of course, have been in this business for a long time. How have you seen the trend of gold over the past few years? Because technically gold has always been seen as a very safe harbor in terms of investment, but the world has been a very crazy place the past few years, let's be honest, with all kinds of changes. It's still going on. So how has the trend of gold been, and how do you see it going?
Well, I look at gold in terms of local currencies rather than in terms of US dollar, because for our target customers, they don't have US dollar exposure. They earn in ringgit. Their entire investment portfolio typically tends to be in ringgit through EPF, the local stock market and unit trust. So I look at it through that lens. And from that perspective, gold has typically performed well against ringgit alongside other local currencies. Typically, gold returns around the rate of local inflation, or what you might expect local inflation to be. If you backtest the ringgit, gold against the ringgit, it has return around 7% per annum over a 5-year period in the long run, and against Indonesian rupiah is about 13%. Against the Japanese yen, conversely, it's around 2%. Over the next 3 to 5 years, there's more upside to gold than there is downside, given what is happening around the world. North Korean tension, what's happening politically in the US, the uncertainty over Euroland, Brexit, Catalonia, and all the instability in the former Soviet Union with Ukraine and Russia, and also question marks over the Chinese economy.
In previous interviews, you have mentioned that this part of the portfolio, let's say buying into gold, is supplementary to your overall portfolio. It's a hedge against the more volatile side of it, whether it's equities, etc. There's also been arguments that cryptocurrency, bitcoins and all that, are also seen as a hedge. Do you see it in the same category?
Just using Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, I think there is the potential of it being a natural hedge to normal investment portfolios. But I think at this point in time, for the next few years, whilst Bitcoin has a high return profile and therefore high volatility, its use as a hedge is not as effective as gold. I think gold has the characteristics that you would expect for a hedge against the rest of your portfolio. It's relatively low risk relative to Bitcoin, and it has low return. You can't typically have high risk. You can't typically have high return, low risk. It's high risk, high return, low risk, low return. Do I see a scenario where it can be the new gold? Absolutely. Is that scenario today? No, because it has high return, high risk characteristics. Now, once it gets to a certain level and the price appreciation stabilizes and becomes low return, low risk, then absolutely. But it isn't there yet, right? I mean, you've seen spectacular returns over the last 6, 12 months. So it doesn't fit that profile. Okay. But absolutely, I do believe that there is a path that Bitcoin can take where it can get to that place.
You have very ambitious targets. You want 500,000 users in the next 5 years. But in terms of like innovation, how are you sort of evolving HelloGold to capture this particular target?
We have recently closed our Series A round earlier this year, 2 months ago, and we also completed our token sale. So we now have a sizable amount of funds to enable us to ramp up our marketing and also to reach out and bring on board more partners beyond Aon. So we are in discussions with a number of parties to try and get them on board and to embed our product into the existing offering to their customers within the Malaysian context. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is to create more product features for our customers that we believe that they will want. We started off with a savings product where people can buy and sell gold for RM1. We then created a gifting feature to enable people to send gold to their friends and family, which would enable them to use a digital version of Duit Raya as an example. And we think that's going to be hugely popular. And as I mentioned, we are going to create the loan product with Aon. It's using Aon's loan book to lend to our customers. HelloGold is more than just buying and selling gold to enable you to save gold in the long run. It's also going to enable people through the Aon Credit venture to use the gold as a form of collateral to get loans in the event of liquidity, because for a lot of our target market, getting access to affordable financing can be a challenge. With the personal finance product that we're creating with Aon Credit, people will be able to use their gold and get a loan very, very easily.
You have talked a lot about, in previous interviews as well, saying that you want to serve the underbanked and the underserved. I mean, how does HelloGold go about serving this particular niche, you think?
Well, if you think about the simplest financial product available to most people, the fixed deposit in Malaysia, to get a fixed deposit, you need to have a minimum of 1,000 ringgit in most banks, and you need to lock that up for 6 months. Then if you think about, on the other hand, Bank Negara's survey that came out about a year ago saying that 3 out of 4 Malaysians don't believe that they have 1,000 ringgit to pull together in the event of an emergency. Actually, the 1,000 ringgit threshold for a fixed deposit is pretty challenging. So we believe that by lowering the savings threshold down to 1 ringgit, enabling people to save with whatever they have for a better future, will help support our ambitions to serve the unbanked and the underserved.